Have my cake and eat it too. At the end of the day, you know I'm coming home to you. Home is where the heartache where we seem to be. I'm just trying to smoke a blunt with my nigga. I don't even see what the problem is. Does he really know what the lyrics are? It's hard to breathe. It's got to be. Oh my God. It's got to be. It's got to be time to smoke. All right, sweetheart. At the end of the day, ooh, you know I'm coming home to you. I don't know if this is a good song.
Wait, did we discover that it's trash?
I don't know if it's trash, but in the song he's fucking up, and I can't tell if he's done fucking up or if this is mid fuck up and he's still going. I can't tell.
I think he's like mid fuck up because he's like, at the end of the day, you know I'm coming home to you. So it's like.
That's the beginning of the song, though. The second verse is like, I'm back now.
That could have been like. I don't know.
I don't know.
Not being allegations.
I don't know. Well, let's do this, sweetheart. It's Tuesday. Let's go ahead and start the show.
All right.
You got your black flag? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Wake and Bake with BeMo. Make sure you capitalize the M, yeah. Good morning, my good people. Make sure we're saying good morning to the hydration of my lymphatic system. Okay, make sure we're saying good morning to the tighter ponytail. What are these things called? Scrunchy ponytails? What are they called?
I call them hair ties, but yeah, scrunchies.
Yeah. Shout out to the hair ties of my Pumbas. Good morning to the lady of the house. Good morning, lady of the house.
Hey, sweetheart, what's up?
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well,
You know.
It's Tuesday. I'm excited to start the show, and Thursday is the. Does niggas still celebrate Thanksgiving? I don't know.
I feel like, that's a good question.
Do niggas still celebrate Thanksgiving? But it's that time, so we will be, today will be the last show until next Thursday?
Yeah, unless...
we won't have a show this Thursday or next Tuesday. The lady of the house has decided to leave me.
All right.
And hopefully she'll be back by next Thursday. So I'm going to do my best to work double time to make sure we can get some clips out for the people from this season, last season, season 3, season 2, some of our burning questions of the Roach moment, so we can continue to grow this here show. But I want to thank y'all for watching. We are very thankful to have season 5 of Wake and Bake with BeMo. And speaking of thankful, we want to shout out the Washington Informer Bridge, WIBridgeDC.com, or at WIBridgeDC on all social media networks. I talked to my man Lafayette yesterday. He doing all right. Make sure you check them out so that you can be aware of all the things that are happening in the black news sector outside of our op-ed analyst perspective. Make sure you go get some facts that are going on. We also want to tell you to go subscribe to the new Blueprint newsletter. Since the season started, we've had 4 new subscribers to the new Blueprint newsletter. If you just subscribe to the if you just subscribe to the new Blueprint newsletter, make sure say something so we can give you a shout out. If you need that $5 scholarship per month, let me know. We can go ahead and get you tapped in also during our Thanksgiving time or our Indigenous Peoples time or whatever the fuck we calling it now. I'm out of the woke circles, if you will. Out of the woke loop. And we'll definitely be talking about that here in a moment. Definitely go check out the Washington Informer, the new Blueprint newsletter. And then also, before we start the show, we're going to give a huge shout out to our people at Let's Talk About It. My man Micah D.E. Robinson has a new platform on which men get together and talk about some of the things that are going on. I think right now is a great time to go check that out, because as we are entering into the holiday season and as traditional gender roles are informing our male-bodied, male gender expressing people that you have to spend more money, you have to do all of these things so that you could be a part of your family. It's a good time to talk about it and see where you actually stand in your capitalistic ventures and where you stand on this holiday time. It could be cold, be a little lonely. You know what I'm saying? I had the realization in a dream and also in real life that, I'm privileged to be in a relationship, although the lady of the house is leaving me for 30 years.
All right.
I'm privileged to be in a relationship, but, still things we need to talk about. So let's talk about it, and we'll be right back.
Hey, what's going on? It's Micah, and I'm really glad you decided to check in today. This is Let's Talk About It, which is a peer support platform, essentially just meaning we get people together, we talk about whatever we need to talk about. And sometimes we disagree, sometimes we change our minds, but what's most important is we always create a safe and open space, and we process before we judge. Now, if you're new here, I'd like to remind you to please like, comment, and subscribe, but with all those boxes checked, let's talk about it.
I actually didn't mean for this to be all black men.
All right, thank you, Micah. Make sure you go check out Let's Talk About It on all social media platforms. LTIA on Instagram. That's so hard to do in my very
LTAI?
Yeah, man. I was about to say that's so hard to do in my dyslexic mind, but I still fucked it up. And then I forgot to actually download and put it in our source this morning, but something huge happened over the past week that I need y'all to go support. Go to Nunair, NUNAR.com to go check out their newest issue. They're calling the Vanguard issue. It's a double issue. On one side of the issue, we have exploration of a creative here in DC, Damo Wells. But on the other side of the issue, we have exploration of A Great Day in Chocolate City, Beverly Price's photo, curated by my girl Rashida Witter. And then I was able and blessed to be tapped to tap the story. So if you've seen like A Great Day in Harlem or A Great Day in Hip Hop or A Great Day in Hollywood or A Great Day in Go-Go, those type of photos, well, the folks in Washington, D.C. have done that to celebrate the visual art and the artist movement here in Chocolate City specifically, and they tapped your boy to write the article. So I need you to go check that out. Check out my girl Beverly Price, the film goddess, on all social media sites. Go check out my girl Rashida Witter, Rashida as it's traditionally spelled in the black tradition, Witter, on all social media sites, and go check out Nunair, NUNAR, on all social media sites so you can get the new issue of A Great Day in Chocolate City, a photo by Beverly Price. Cover story written by your boy. Now, your boy does your writing. Okay, I just shouted out the new Blueprint newsletter. I've been in the Washington Informer Bridge several times writing things, but this is the first time that I've been tapped to write a cover story, and I'm gonna be honest with you, sweetheart. I'm gonna be 100% with you, sweetheart. I'm gonna be well, I can't say the last word because we don't fuck with that nigga, but I'm gonna be that nigga, sweetheart. Not that nigga, just the word. I don't think there is anything more representative of my purpose than this particular issue of this magazine.
Interesting.
I think for the last, we're going on 8 years of business in June. Mm-hmm. For the last 7.5 years, I have engulfed myself and studied the artistic movement that has been happening here, particularly in the black side of Washington, D.C. We went to the white side the other day. We didn't talk about it. We still won't talk about it. We might. I have been studying and engulfing myself in the black artist experience for the last 7.5 years. And while I was not in the actual photo, I don't think I belonged in the actual photo. And before you try to make me feel better, this is what I mean. What I mean is I believe that being a studier, being a curator, being an appreciator, being someone who has uplifted the arts, my role is to observe and report. That's my job. When Teresa passed, I found a little bit of joy in knowing that I could deliver my observed and reported recordings of Teresa.
Yeah.
That's my job as a producer. That's my job as a curator, as a historian to a certain degree. So I feel like this particular magazine, nunair.com, N-U-N-A-R, Great Day in Chocolate City is a way for me to really express that part of my purpose, and I'm so glad to be a part of the process. Actually, Beverly in the building right now. What's up, Bev? How you doing? So make sure y'all go check that out. We'll do a full review when the magazine comes in the mail in the next couple of days, because you know I had to get one. You know I had to get. Who am I not to have a magazine? I mean, come on, look around. There's magazines in the shop right now.
Right.
A magazine ass nigga. So anyway, shout out to the Washington Informer Bridge. Shout out to New Nair. Make sure I go check out that magazine. Make sure I go to the Washington Informer Bridge to go check them out. We have some great things we want to talk to you about this morning on Wake and Bake with BeMo. Again, this is our Tuesday episode. The next time we'll be on will be next Thursday, not this Thursday, not next Tuesday, but the following Thursday. So we want to leave you with some very interesting thought. Very interesting thoughts. So this morning, a couple of things we want to talk about. We want to talk about this photo that's been floating around social media of black women sitting on top of a building and watching the world burn. I want to talk about that.
Okay.
I want to talk about that because on Wake and Bake with BeMo, we try to make simple things beneficial to the race. And speaking of beneficial to the race, the lady in the house and I, we went to an artistic immersive experience through line sponsored by Ace of Spades. And I want to talk about that as well. But before we take another step, sweetheart, I think we need to root ourselves in facts. It's time for Sweetheart's Black Fact. What you got for us, sweetheart? Somebody go produce these segment titles one day.
Let's see. Do we want to go with another Hanibal or do we want to go with somebody else?
Let's go with somebody else because Hanibal blew my mind.
This is a different Hanibal.
Oh, it's a different Hanibal?
Yeah.
Well, hit me with that then. Shit.
All right, Abraham Hanibal.
What? Abraham, also a black name. Go ahead.
Right. Captured as a slave in Africa, was adopted by Peter the Great as his son and taught military engineering. Later, Hannibal became tutor to the heir to the throne and commander-in-chief of the Russian army. He died in 1782 at the age of 90, owning vast estates and 2,000 white slaves. That's crazy.
Wait, what? You're saying that there was an Abraham Hannibal who led the Russian army?
Yeah.
And died with 200 slaves?
2,000.
I don't think you realize how appropriate this fact is for this morning. That fact is incredibly important. The ancestors always watching. That's crazy. The ancestors always got us in tune. There was an Abraham Hannibal of the 1700s. Peter the Great got him, taught him military science, let him lead the military, and then he died with 200 slaves.
2,000.
2,000 slaves?
Yeah.
2,000 slaves? Jesus. 2,000 slaves. It's crazy. He had an army of slaves.
Yeah.
Slavs, maybe.
Yeah, because they were white. So,
yeah. Oh, shit. Okay, so the first Hannibal, just as a review, last week's Hannibal discovered the world. Or, I'm sorry, discovered Arizona.
Yeah.
Last week's Hannibal was a black man who discovered Arizona with two other white boys.
In like 200 BC or
Yeah.
80 or something like that.
In
Yeah.
80 BC.
Yeah.
Right? Just before they started counting forward.
Yeah.
How confusing would it be on New Year's Eve in 80 BC? But Happy New Year's, it's 79.
Right.
Anyway, that's my old man jokes. Hannibal last week was a black man who found Arizona. And you're telling me Abraham Hannibal, was a military general in Russia, died with 2,000 slaves.
Yep. and vast estates at the age of 90, which I guess is not I guess, but that is an accomplishment, especially back then. Cause
Yeah, in 1796, if you died at 90,
right,
you lived 2 lives.
Right.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Here's why it's interesting, sweetheart. As we go to our through lines conversation, the lady in the house and I, we were invited to. Shout out to the Media Prince. If you know the Media Prince, definitely go check him out. Media Prince is a media maven right here in the DMV area. Consider him a peer in this media space, definitely a leader in this media space. You remember from season 3, Art and Entertainment, the Media Prince. Media Prince got us on the list from my girl Mercy, who's a PR here and public relations person here in Washington, D.C. Make sure y'all go check out Mercy if you want to know what all the cool kids are doing. But they invited me to this art event called Throughline. Is actually the second volume of this event, and for all intents and purposes, this is a all senses immersive artistic experience that happened at the auto shop in what's that place called?
Union Market.
Union Market. Right. Thanks, y'all. If you can go ahead and you start scrolling through the Throughline stuff right now, and I'll just give an update of what we were doing in the space. So the lady of the house and I, we go to this artistic experience, and what it is, there are 5 artists for all 5 senses, of course. There are 5 artists who have taken on the project of honoring 16 black women, right? It is called Through Lines. This is the second volume. I think the first volume were the women of Oakland. The second volume are the women of Washington, D.C. You can just scroll down.
It wasn't going at first.
16 women being honored in Through Lines. And what these 5 artists do, so the first artist is our man, the art hype, Dio. They take a photograph of these women, and then that photograph is sent to a visual artist who then paints these women on gigantic canvases in a mixed media format. Beautiful photo, beautiful paintings. And then those paintings are sent to a poet who then writes that poetry based on the color of the said painted portraits, and then that poet performs that poem during the event. Each one of these, after the poem is created, after the portrait is painted, after the portrait is taken, the 4th sense is taste. So then the chef from Bronze, Chef Keem, created a small bite based on the poem that's based on the portrait that's based on the portrait that's of the woman. And then the 5th element is that a songstress came in and sang a song dedicated to all 16 honorees. So all 5 senses are covered through these 16 women, right? Lady of the House and I are there. Lady of the House and I, we went to this other thing called Automatic. Was that downtown?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had the same feeling. This thing is amazing, it's beautiful, it's bountiful. And in this particular moment, the way that the immersive experience was led, as my man Media Prince said, it felt like Harriet Tubman was guiding us through whatever track we needed to get to freedom. Let me show you an example. You play the next scene, sweetheart.
I may wash away all of my pride.
Wow.
Champagne. A toast. May everything you touch turn to gold. May everyone you love grow old like wine. May every problem be the champagne kind. May every kind act be done in kind. May every single life be enriched by the witness of me living mine. Cheers.
Here. So this gentleman, I can't remember his name right now. You remember his name?
No, it's escaping me.
It's escaping me right now. But this gentleman also had a residency at the Kennedy Center, has done poetry performance all over the land. So that is a taste of the experience, Sweethaht. You want to give your immediate response? 2 through lines. Me and the lady of the house, we left right before the songstress came because as we experienced it automatic, once you get to about 4 sentences, man, I'm overloaded. I'm like, that's pretty much it. That's all I can take. I can't take another, like you be full off a meal. I can't take another French fry. I can't take another color. I can't take another note. But the lady of the house and I, we went to a local French restaurant because we had some cheeseburgers because we're not so fancy. And we discussed this event. Do you remember what we were talking about, Sweethaht? What were your thoughts?
Well, I think our immediate reaction was that our minds were blown because we had never been to an event that kind of touched all the senses at once like that. And it was, the elevated experience, that whole aspect of it, the fact that it was sponsored by Ace of Spades and then had the head chef from Bronze, and we were like, what just happened basically. But I'm kind of like trying to choose my words carefully.
Why? It's our show.
True. I mean, I thought it was a great event. I would have liked more time on. There was a lot of I guess, quote unquote, free time where people were just mingling and interacting with the art before we had a tour and had the poet, actually guide us around the space. But I feel like that aspect was a little bit rushed. So maybe we could have had less time in the beginning because we were just kind of all standing around and, that whole thing.
Why did Kendall say Jonathan Majors was spin? Kendall, you are 100% correct. If you had to draw this nigga just based on that, you draw Jonathan Majors. This is true. This is true. But I hear the lady of the house saying she wants to be careful with her words, and I think the care I want to take is that we were impressed.
Yeah.
When we left this event, we were impressed. This is a 5-sensory event. The first time I've ever had Ace of Spades ever in my life, which I think at the end of the day might have been the point of the event. But I want to get there in a second because I want to praise it enough before we get to the second part where we are becoming very critical of this piece of art, because it's Tuesday, which means it's not the Paul Ropes and Negro of the Week. Somebody got to get called to task. And it might lead to the election blame game, just to give you a spoiler. But okay, so Lady in the House and I, we leave. We are impressed. We're eating cheeseburgers at the French restaurant, and we're just blown away. We're sitting in silence from time to time. We're talking about some of the things that we saw, and all is well. I mean, to be honest with you, when we left, I want to say we would have rated the event about an 8.5 out of 10. Is that fair? What you think?
So.
What would you have rated it as soon as we left?
Yeah, that's about accurate.
About an 8.5?
Yeah, 8.5 or 9 maybe.
Maybe a 9?
Yeah.
Maybe even a 9, Lady of the House says we'll rate it out of 10. And that was on Friday?
Mm-hmm.
It is Tuesday. I think I'm at a 3 now.
Damn.
And falling.
What?
So, okay. So you witness art. It's amazing. It's immersive. You sit in it. You witness it. You understand it for the moment that it's in. But then when we left, it's almost when we got to the French restaurant, my 8.5 started turning into an 8. And then by the time we got home, it was a 7.9. And now this Tuesday, we're a 3. And the reason why it's falling is because the things that are sitting with me, the things that stuck with me, might be all bullshit.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things I'm bringing into this, but the reason why I said Abraham Hanibal is such a great example for today's conversation, because Abraham Hanibal was born a slave, died with 2,000 slaves.
Mm-hmm.
would you say that Abraham Hannibal was a solution to slavery? Okay. Where do I want to go first? Actually, you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the artistic distinction theory. Can you pull that up for me, sweetheart? And can you read it for me? I know it's your favorite thing to read.
Can I interact with this?
Yeah, just click just double click that. Double click the source.
Okay. The capacity for aesthetic appreciation, placing form over function, is a disposition affordable by individuals who have lifted themselves above the imperatives of necessity and survival, is celebrated as a sign of that deliverance. The aesthetic disposition functions as a base for the fabrication and exploitation of countless social distinctions, separating the cognoscenti from the benighted. Clyde R. Taylor.
Sweetheart. It's Tuesday. What do you think the function of through lines is? We know the form. We just discussed the form. 5 sense immersive artistic experience. But what do you think the function, 5 sense artistic immersive experience dedicated to 16 black women? What do you think the function of this thing is?
That's a good question, because you would think that it's about highlighting the 16 women, but I'm not sure if that was really the purpose.
No, and the reason why I just adjusted what the form was to include the 16 women, because I would say that the 16 women are part of what the art is, the form of the art. But what was the function of through lines? To sell Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
The function of this artistic, immersive experience, sponsored by Ace of Spades, sponsored by Soho House, as we're walking around, and I don't see any biographies, I don't see any name tags, I don't see any name plates, I don't see a book with these women's names in them, I don't see a list of accomplishments. This is why I have to attribute everything that we saw to the form of the thing. But the function, the purpose of the thing was to do what? Even if I want to give them grace and say it's not to sell Ace of Spades, the function of this artistic experience is to say that we have aesthetic distinction. We know what looks good, we know what sounds good, we know what is artistic. But as I refer to the 7th question of the Africana Studies framework, and I refer back to Sonia Sanchez's play in 1974, but how does it free us? And the reason why I'm giving you all of this rigmarole to tell you about the descending score of this very beautifully executed artistic moment is to show you that this moment, like Abraham Hannibal, is the other side of the coin that does not solve the problem.
Yeah.
It is not even, I would say it might be an output of the problem, but it is not a solution towards the problem. In our conversations about stupidity, which it seems like season 5 is really about stupidity, but maybe the whole Wake and Bake with BeMo experience has been about whatever stupidity is. When we talked about stupidity last week, and we talked about black male teachers, how we want more black men to be successful in education, the solution to that is not to simply have more black male teachers. We need that in the input. That is not the solution. The same thing that's happening here. We have a beautiful form, but the function of that form is to celebrate the form. It does not answer the question of how does this free us?
Oh, it's back to what you said. We selling paper towels.
We selling paper towels.
Yeah.
This is the reason why I stopped fucking Superman. Because one day it dawned on me, we're not looking for solutions to these problems. We're trying to sell paper towels.
Right.
But even if I want to give that, I feel like that's mean. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like that's a little mean. Because if I put together a 5 sensory immersive art experience and then Armand de Brigiac decided they wanted to jump on, I would be pissed if somebody said I was doing it just to sell Armand de Brigiac. So I'll give them a little grace there. But the grace there actually opens you up for more criticism. Because as my man Clyde Taylor says, if you are appreciating aesthetic distinction without applying it to the function of marginalized people, you have created nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what it reminds me of, Sweethaht? In a very weird way, in a very opposite way, it reminds me of two things. One, them niggas in suits. Play that video.
We about to rewrite the family history. We going out like the Statue of Liberty. Yeah.
It reminds me of this. It reminds me of all form, no function. But BeMo, they had poets, they employed people, they had canvases, they honored these 16 women. How is that and them niggas in suits taking pictures, how is it the same thing? Because it's just representative. Mm-hmm. It's just surface level.
Right.
And so when I say that Abraham Hanibal, who had died with 2,000 slaves, is not the answer to slavery, although it is an interesting story, although it seems to be a story of justice, although it seems to be a story of redemption, I would argue that this moment is the overcorrection that still allows for the negative experience. Mm-hmm. Such a detailed nuance, but is necessary. If the artistic world right now, if how we experience art, the artistic distinction, if you will, is -1, and we're trying to get back to 0, you would think, let's just do a whole bunch of positive ones. Positive 1, positive 1, positive 1. But that doesn't get you back to 0. What it does is it sets an unnecessary precedent to get you back to -2. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm there, if I'm BeMo and I'm like, man, I need to do this as well, to the fandom point that YouTube makes, I need to make this similar content to be successful as well. Does that mean I got to go to Armand de Brigiac? That mean I got to go to Soho House? That mean I need a 40,000 warehouse in Union Market to show off my work? Does that mean I have to rush an artist to do 16 portraits in 8 months in order for me to get to artistic distinction that serves no function towards our liberation, but is presented as such? Mm-hmm. Word to Geronimo that reminds me of another thing, and this one might piss off the people. Geronimo sent me a podcast clip a couple weeks ago by my man Musa Al Garhidi. I'm quite sure I'm fucking his name up. Sorry, Musa. And he wrote a new book, and the book is We've Never Been Woke.
Okay.
And when listening to the philosophy for the first time, I thought to myself, oh, he talking about white folks. He talking about white women. But then we go to this function and I'm like, oh, shit. Damn, he talking about us too. Play that clip for me, Sweethaht.
The stories that symbolic capitalists tell ourselves about how we're allies for the marginalized and the disadvantaged, about how we're on the right side of history, and so on. These make it difficult for us to understand how various social problems come about and persist, and who benefits from them and how. And so the we have never been woke is this group of folks I call symbolic capitalists. They've been known by other names in other places: the professional managerial class, the creative class, Class X, the new class, a lot of class words. Basically, they're people who make a living by producing and manipulating symbols and data instead of producing physical or providing physical goods and services to people. So think people who are like college professors or journalists or people who work in consulting or finance or science and technology, arts and entertainment, and so on. So fields like that where you're involved in the production and manipulation of symbols and data and rhetoric and so on.
Okay. And one point that really comes through right at the very start is this question that you pose. Why is it that elites, the symbolic capitalists, the professional class that I think most of us, for better or worse, are part of, why are we so eager to paint ourselves as victims and to do the kind of performative woke stuff that you are, I think, somewhat critical of? And there's something odd about this because we are the people who are highly educated, quite successful. We are the winners in broader American society, yet we refuse to see ourselves as such. We're elites who don't want to be elites, and we're elites who want to apparently be victims. So there is something contradictory about that. And, you know, one example you give that I think is very telling, and it might be relevant actually on Tuesday, depending on how the election goes, you bring up the night of Trump's victory in 2016, and then you were at Columbia at the time, and you were seeing how students were reacting the days after. And this is what you write early in the book. You say this, quote, "Although the classrooms were full of tears in the days that followed, one never saw the janitors making a scene, sobbing uncontrollably about politics as they scrubbed rich kids' messes out of the toilets." End quote. I think there's something powerful about that. I cried on election day.
We have never been woke, talking about the creative class, and where at the beginning, when I first heard this philosophy, when I first heard this thought, as I said a second ago, I thought he was talking about white folks. I thought he was talking about the liberal white left. But then we go to through lines and I'm like, shit. That's us.
Yeah.
All of us in this room who are,
Right.
ooh, after every word. We are standing in this position of victimhood while we are winning at society. We are literally sipping Armand de Brigiac Ace of Spades and discussing how we are trying to still overcome. Discussing and celebrating these women who are being marginalized. But they are part of the form, not part of the function.
I just thought about something.
Go ahead.
This event was, I guess, supposed to honor these women, but they didn't even get a chance to speak. Like, of course, if you walked up to them and interacted with them on a one-on-one basis,
Right.
but like, yeah, they didn't get to address everyone that was there. It wasn't about them.
Exactly. It wasn't about them.
Right.
It was about the art. Again, it was about the form, not the function.
Right.
Had it been about the function, we'd have known everything about these 16 women. We'd have been in the Spice Suite today,
Right.
buying it up. Oh, damn, we didn't go to Blue Nile. Shit.
Yeah, I thought about that.
I got anything else on today?
No.
Okay,
That's it.
so like so just to put a bow on it, we went to this through line situation, and it dawned on me that the solution to artless moments isn't to create more art. It is actually to ingratiate more function. We don't need more form. And like my man W.B. Du Bois said, don't give me art unless it's propaganda. We need propaganda. We need counter programming. And I thought when we first left, I thought this was counter programming to dumb down art events. In actuality, this is the same programming.
Yeah.
So what would have been better? If it had been about the women. What would have been better if there were, I don't know, 32 girls there from the local Boys and Girls Club trying to figure out who these women are and how they can be like them. Same thing with these niggas in suits. I don't want to just give it to the through line. Same thing with these niggas in suits. What can we do more than just stand around with suits on? For the fact of surface level representation. Nothing. And if you recall our conversation about Barack Obama, I'm not one of those individuals who throws representational power away. It is very powerful. But when you start to dig deep, you start to realize, wait a minute. What if this thing is crumbling? Then what do we do with this? Any comments? So what are your thoughts?
You just said something about the niggas in suits. There was a gentleman, he just passed away recently. He was 39. He was a news anchor out of LA, I believe.
Yeah.
And he had a foundation for boys, I guess like elementary, middle school, high school. And it was like a mentorship program and basically helped them get in college and, get scholarships, that whole thing. And I'm just thinking like that could be an aspect of what these guys in suits do, but instead it's just we go flex and take pictures and
Yeah.
Also, I know the
You know the niggas in suits, dude?
I know the guy in the green suit. He's the husband of this preacher's daughter at my church. Yeah, that's her husband.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm like, wow, okay.
Do your thing.
Right.
Do your thing. I'm not telling you to stop. What I'm asking you to do is to infuse more function here, to give us more purpose.
Right. Exactly.
And then what if I told the people this was a $185 event?
Minimum.
Minimum. But funny enough, I'm saying all that to say, and I'm going to clip this up. I'm saying that to say that, like, I'd really love to talk to the producer of this particular function, Xavier. I'd love to talk to the poet from this function. I'd love to talk to Dio. I'd love to talk to the artists themselves. I'd love to talk to all 5 of them individually about how they use function and form outside of this particular project.
Right.
And I want to know from the producer, I got to know, what came first, the thought or the sponsor? I got to know. What came first, the thought or the sponsor? We got any comments, Sweethaht? We got one on my man Born Off Conflict said a bunch of negative moves for positive outcomes doing nothing again. I'm not gonna lie, when I started in this, I was in love. Now I'm brokenhearted to see what it is. The bag is dragging it down, but what does that mean? We must be starving artists for truth, community. Says a new scam. And then my man Carl, what up, Carl? Says give us more purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, we got comments on. What's up?
Go ahead.
We got the comments on YouTube. Maurice says that sounds like some extra fancy Negro art stuff. Drew says I miss HU in events like this. Kendall says Jonathan Majors was spitting. Drew says it's art for art's sake. It doesn't necessarily do something. It's just there to be bought. In a traditional Afrocentric view, any form of art is to be utilized to convey a message. Just putting something out lacks that black essence. We talked about this in my black aesthetics class at HU. Maurice says the ticket prices for the event are crazy. I checked.
Yeah. Now imagine, so Maurice is a good example. Imagine at the last, what was Maurice's gallery called? The last one with the buildings and shit?
Yeah.
Now imagine if he did that in the actual building. And he had people sitting around acting like secretaries, saying they're doing the work. And we had all of these beautiful displays of what these buildings are supposed to look like in 3D in real life. But then they produced nothing from the buildings. That it was just basically a theater show.
Yeah.
What would that be? It would just be cool.
Right. Kendall says, for real, everything feels like form over function nowadays. Products, politics, religion, journalism, art, etc. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I didn't know. It kind of makes sense that Armand de Bergerac would do that after researching LVMH a little more. I didn't know that brands would be interested in this side of the coin.
Yeah.
That Armand de Bergerac would give you, me and the lady of the house imagine that event itself, at least 250 grand.
Mm-hmm.
At least 250 grand. The Ace of Spades would give you 250 grand to do events like these. Interesting.
Yeah. Drew says the janitor's been broke. People who know actual struggle call a Trump presidency Tuesday.
Right.
Right. Didn't we talk about this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's in the Never Been Woke situation. That has kind of changed my philosophy. Because I believe, you couldn't tell me if I'm wrong. Well, they kind of made a reference to it. Funny enough, they did make a reference to it. They did make a reference to the fact that we have to celebrate women more now that Trump is president. But then we had lady servants walking around, didn't even think about it. Wasn't even thinking about it at all.
Right.
It's another Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Kodaro says that was a great clip, very informative. Micah says good stuff here. Drew says South Park had a good criticism over a similar subject. The elite got together to throw themselves a gala to celebrate being charitable rather than give money to the cause. Right.
Yeah. Come on, Matt.
Kendall says 185 minimum. Nah, Wake and Bake should have more live events.
Yeah, the 185 minimum is crazy.
Yeah. And then Drew says too many things with messages offend people, but art is supposed to be offensive in a way that punches up or sideways. And then we got good mornings in the beginning.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, y'all. Well, here's the thing. Before we leave, if you're in the DC area, definitely go check out Through Lines. If you're in the DC area and you have, and you got the 185, and it's not a problem to you, definitely go check it out because it is a very immersive experience. And as the public relations lady told me over that, she said she fears that the price point may keep her people out. So most days won't look like the night we were in where it was all black. Which means this man will be traversing through the Underground Railroad with his original Negro spiritual for white folks. Mm-hmm. We're going to leave you with Sir EU's ee ha 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 on my villain shit, and we'll be right back with more Wake and Bake with BeMo. Wake and Bake with B. See, there was no function for that pause, and that's exactly how I feel about this bullshit. Mo, yeah.
I must devour, I must devour, I must devour, I must devour, I must devour.
Friends that motivate people, vilify the villains who I know that hate people. How the devil, how he cultivate evil. Focus how he beats you to the bunch of them feed you. Explain this to the people, they will need you. If you damn body it, they gon' eat you. If you not a heavy eight, they gon' beat you. I believe in God, I don't need you. Mommy made me promise to be guardian the people. Starting with Stephanie, karma got be lethal. I was all alone with the slowness, her EU. Real power trio, I consider them equal. I just want to deliver what was given. Power steering through a whole truck, I'm forgiven. If I wasn't in it for the win, I would've been in the mortician's clinic, grinning, looking down on all the living. Shitting on the witnesses is what the kid was given. Forfeiting, I'm finishing the full vision. Since I was an infant and my mission was a killing to fulfill it. Was an energetic criticism that I'm still in. Will it, kill him, real him. You already know what we be on. I keep soy be on. I be on. He. We are destroy, and I watch this evolve. Evolved into a devolve. And I earn stripes with a tree talk. And I earn stripes like a tree dog. This is how you get friends and motivate people. Vilify the villains who I know that hate people. Focus on the devil, how he cultivate evil. Notice how he beats you to the punch and then feed you. Explain this to the people and I promise they will need you. If you damn body it, I promise they will eat you. If you not a heavyweight, I promise they gon' beat you. I believe in God, bitch, I don't fucking believe you. Mommy made me promise to be guardian of people. Started with Stephanie, the karma got me lethal. I was all alone with the slowness or EO. Real power trio, I consider them equal. I just want to live what was given, but I was steering through it to the top. I'm forgiven. If I wasn't in it for the win, I would've been in. No more distance, Linda grinning, looking down on all the living. Shitting on the witnesses of what the kid was given. Forfeiting, not finishing the fucking vision. This vision since I was a fucking.
Whew. All right, we back. Welcome back to another episode of Wake and Bake with BeMo. The sun to rise. Wait, the sun decided to rise. Yeah. All right, we back with another episode, y'all. It's time for our blunt manifestations. If you can, throw your blunt manifestations into the chat. We appreciate y'all sticking around for our very long conversation about maybe we've never been woke. What is the true purpose of aesthetic distinction in real time? This shit is crazy. Yeah, am I sweatshirt pink again?
Yeah, it's a little orangish.
You can turn ISO now too if you need to.
Okay.
Are we good?
I think so.
I trust you.
I think so.
Okay. All right, sweetheart. I rolled the blunt in time. We got some blunt manifestations. Let's see here. Let's manifest some safe traveling. Lady House is going down to Florida. Lord of mercy. Let's hope that she'll be all right down there post-election. I'm going up to Connecticut to see Renell and them. Hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Hope your macaroni and cheese ain't burnt, sweetheart. That's what I'm manifesting.
Okay.
I mean that metaphorically and literally. I hope your macaroni and cheese ain't burnt. What you manifesting?
Safe travels for us both, and also all the Wake and Bake with BeMo nights. Everybody traveling to go see their families.
Yeah.
Manifesting a good Thanksgiving, a good holiday season, and also my flight got canceled, so yeah, I'm manifesting this one won't get canceled too.
They tell you why?
No.
It's just not there no more.
It's just not there, yeah.
They said we don't feel like flying on that time.
Right.
That's crazy.
Never mind.
We good.
Yeah, we good.
All right.
It was a big ass flight too, like 3 rows with the. Yeah, I haven't been on it. I think it was like a 737. I don't know, whatever the big plane is. I was like, that's crazy.
All right.
Right.
All right.
Also, liberation, but.
Yeah, true. we should be manifesting liberation. This is true.
Yeah. Right.
I like the one, I guess. Okay, so this next topic, I feel like it's a good topic. And I really want to hear your thoughts, sweetheart, because I'm not a black woman. But something, I was on Facebook, unfortunately, because you got to be on Facebook when you're trying to get your voice out there. So I'm on Facebook, I'm posting shit, I'm looking at the reels, doing my reconnaissance, if you will. And I'm noticing as I'm scrolling through, like a lot of black women have either changed their profile picture or changed their profile picture to black. And so I'm scrolling through it and I'm seeing black women. One black woman, I won't shout out her name. She said, if you haven't noticed, all the black women who voted for Trump haven't changed their profile picture yet. And in my head, I said, you niggas is doing this shit again? We doing black photos again for advocacy? This is what we on?
Right.
But I started there, but I don't want that energy to be representative for how I fully feel. But this picture has been floating up on social media for a few days now. And I've been wondering exactly what I'm supposed to do with this. Put the picture up there. It is a picture for my listeners and listeners only. It is a picture of, 4 black women sitting on top of a building and watching America burn. Mm-hmm. And black women have been posting these pictures, and it is a photo that is being defended about the work that black women have been doing and the work that black women will not continue to do. You see the 92%, mm-hmm. You know what that represents is 92% of black women voted for Donald Trump. 5 black women, excuse me. This has been the picture that's been going around. Remember we had a conversation about soft life like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And in that conversation about soft life, I wondered if black women were being duped into being passive about their own destruction. Mm-hmm. I'm having those tingling feelings again. Because just to be a literalist for a second, if you were 5 black women sitting on top of a building and watching America burn, that would include your neighborhood, right?
Right.
That would include your neighbors. That would include, I'm sorry, you're right, Shamiko. 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris. Excuse me. I said that wrong. But if you are watching the world burn, doesn't that also include your world?
Exactly.
And again, I feel like I'm being a little harsh, and you know how much I don't like to critique black women's behavior. So then I had to go to the expert. I had to see what the expert was saying. Let's see what Randy B got to say.
I have to thank the women on my Facebook page, the Randy B Facebook page, because they have really helped me to adhere to this we're resting phase that black women are in, rightfully so. Because on my page, of course, the majority of people who frequent my page are black. But I do have some people, non-black people, who are on my page. Some are there to learn and listen and grow, and that's awesome. But oftentimes, every day, I'm going to have at least some people who assert their opinions that are just loud and wrong. And particularly, I posted an article about the number of judges black judges that Biden appointed during his tenure. And it said, Biden appoints this many black judges. And two different white women came on and said, basically stop making this about black versus white, right? And anyone who knows anything about this country was founded on making the difference between black and white. Like, black people didn't choose this life. White people designed for us to be separated by race so they could justify enslaving us and to have superiority. I mean, this is our history. This is facts. These are facts. And it's hard for me because my job has been to educate, because I believe education helps us to get better and do better, right? So it is hard for me not to come back and say, and teach these people and educate them, right? But what my family, the Facebook family, realizes, and that I have to remind myself of, is that people aren't just ignorant. Because understand, people are ignorant, and this system is designed to maintain that ignorance, actually help the ignorance to grow. This is why they don't want things like critical race theory in our schools, because if it told the truth about why black people lag behind in everything, for the most part, it's not because we're lesser. It's really the opposite, where we're just miraculously resilient, strong, beautiful, brilliant people that have been able to overcome a system of white supremacy that has, was designed to oppress us since the beginning. And it takes away from people that, they're just inherently better. The white people are inherently better. So they suppress that history. And so through the education system, of course, people are ignorant. But it's this cognitive dissonance, this willful ignorance. How do you teach people who don't want to know? They don't want to learn. They want to believe that racism is the same as prejudice, and that all the issues we have are just as simple as I may not like you, or you may not like me, or I just treat you differently because of your skin color, and not this whole system, right? And I have to understand.
Already?
Yeah.
That's all good. So, Randy B is talking about in this particular clip, if you're just catching us, Randy B is talking about in this particular clip how people are, the difference between ignorance and willful ignorance, and how black women are at a rest period. And so my question to you, Sweethaht, is, as I'm looking at this picture, as I'm hearing the perspective of black women, as I'm seeing the 92%, as I'm seeing the changing of pictures on Facebook for some type of advocacy, right? As I'm seeing that black women are retreating from fighting and going into rest and retreating from society altogether. My question to you, Sweethaht, is, if we already know that niggas is dumb, what is the tactical advantage of letting black women rest at a time like this? Why should you be resting instead of fighting? And this is a real question. Because I asked this about soft life, and I feel like I was swiftly corrected. So I want to know, as you are you sitting on top of the building and watching the world burn? Are you at rest? Is there a strategic advantage to that? I'm done talking.
I don't think it's a should thing, but more so black women are tired. feeling like we have to, you know, I'll do it myself or save somebody or try and, educate on a subject, or we're tired of picking up the slack, so to speak. Yeah.
So.
Is that with a question mark?
No, that's my answer.
Okay.
That's so, but sassily.
So yeah, question mark.
Yeah. So.
What do you mean? So I mean, that's.
I'm trying to dig into this joint because I really don't. We talked about how we might have to die for this, and let me be clear. I understand and agree that black women have been burdened to address these issues, to be the educators, to be the gap fillers, to be the leaders. And I said this about soft life, and I guess I'm saying it now. I understand that, but so. Does that mean you don't fight? Does that mean we lose?
I mean, from that picture's perspective, that's what it seems like.
Is the hope that if black women step back, someone will step in?
I think so.
Do you think that'll actually happen, or will we all just lose?
You're asking difficult questions.
It's
hard to say. Because who or what group would be that someone that would step in? Is it black men?
No, niggas is dumb. And constantly reminded of it. And not only are we constantly reminded of it, for some reason, because we dumb, we also don't get no power. This is one of them horseshoe things.
Yeah.
I feel like. Because, like, a misogynistic, I don't even know if that's a misogynistic point. Like, does a misogynist think that black women shouldn't be the heroes? Or does a misogynist think that black women should do all the work? Or are they both misogynist thoughts? If we were a basketball team, black women would definitely be Michael Jordan. Black men are something like Horace Grant. Maybe Scotty, okay?
Okay.
Maybe we Scottie Pippen, okay? I'll give us a little grace. Do you know what happened to the Bulls when Michael Jordan retired?
No.
Scottie Pippen was leading the team.
Yeah.
They didn't win the championship. Matter of fact, when Jordan came back, they lost to, what was that, Shaq and them? Or they lost to somebody in the Eastern Conference Finals. Who was it? I can't remember. If you know, definitely drop it in the chat. In this strategic retreat from black women, are they ready to lose?
Haven't we already lost?
Have we?
No.
Did you also just think of 3 more things that we could lose that'd be detrimental?
Yeah.
The creeping thought, maybe every like 4 or 5 days comes in that, oh, Trump's going to name new Supreme Court justices and they're going to overturn the Civil Rights Acts in 1963 and 64. They tried to do it already. I ain't feel like we lost yet. We losing. I'm at odds with rest. as a nigga who goes to sleep at 7:30. I'm at odds with rest. I need your thoughts, sweetheart. Are you spent? Do we need to go to the comments?
I mean, I'm at it's like not a crossroads, a horseshoe, you know.
Yeah. Like, I think I understand, before we even get to the comments, I think I could understand a perspective in which, idealistically, when black women step away, black men are supposed to step up.
Right.
But realistically, can we? And while we are attempting to, are we willing to lose a few steps? Are we willing to go backwards in order to move forwards? Or will black women revert to, fuck it, I'll do it myself, now with disdain for the failure of black men? Are white women supposed to step up? These same white women who said that they would do the right thing against Donald, and then turned out they didn't. Lie to our face. White men supposed to step up? Latino women, Asian women, poor women, educated women. Who supposed to step up? And then I guess, show me a time in history where they've done it before.
Where they've rested?
Where black women have rested, another group has stepped up, and black women were able to be like, all right, cool, now I can be Scottie Pippen. When have black women been Scottie Pippen on this planet?
Never.
And is the goal for you to be Scottie Pippen? We got the comments? What we got? I see it moving. That's crazy.
That went too far. Okay. Woke could be applied at levels. To quote Kanye, even if you in a Benz, you still a nigga in a coupe. While you and I have our problems, we aren't the bottom of the totem pole. That's from Drew. Shamiko said, who the fuck made that call?
What, the Black Pictures call?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I often wonder where these strategies come from. I think it's the CIA. I think this picture was commissioned by the CIA too.
You wouldn't be surprised. And then Shamiko also said, 92% voted for Kamala. Not about race, but I told a friend before the election I'm done thinking for others.
Yeah.
Drew says, rest is critical. It's when you tend to yourself to come back better. Shamiko says, also, I saw that photo, but had no clue there was any strategic reason anyone had shared it. Oh, there's also, you know, the fact that they're drinking coffee that's like, well, I don't know if it's true, but I saw that it's a shot at Palestinians.
Yeah, they drinking at the Starbucks again?
Yeah, Starbucks, yeah.
And going to McDonald's?
Right.
Ugh. That's racism. Do you know that?
McDonald's.
Like, that's black racism.
Yeah.
Like, abandoning your political power to directly affect another race, that's racism.
Damn.
You'd be better off just calling them fat. You know what I mean? You'd be better off just roasting them instead of like, that'd have been more of the black tradition for us to unilaterally roast Palestinians. Just roast their ass. I mean, flame their ass up, but still use our political power to their advantage. That'd have been more in the black tradition rather than, I'm going to Starbucks. Watch me support them, support your destruction. That's not funny.
Okay, but as you're saying this, and to Shamiko's point, how do we know, like, where did this come from? How do we know that the person who made this photo was even black?
We don't.
Right.
We don't even know. And social media is so unreal.
Right.
Social media is so unreal. When I'm scrolling, it used to be. Remember that season we did, we found out that the algorithm thing we thought like the computer was playing you, but you got to upload your own image first.
Yeah.
That's like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was maybe like I remember we had a struggle finding that video again the morning of the show. Mm-hmm. It took me about maybe 40 swipes to find the video.
Yeah.
Now there's a fake, like, scripted video every other video. It went from 1 in 20 to half.
Right.
Scenarios completely made up. Fights completely made up. Stats made up. Crazy. These stats are starting to make it onto journalistic platforms. It was a completely false football stat that somebody put on Twitter, and it made it all the way through ESPN.
Wow. Before
someone at the end of the day said, this isn't true.
That's crazy.
I don't know where it came from. That's a good point. But the presentation of such is crazy. Keep going.
Drew says, constantly going at full power is exhausting and damaging. If you don't rest, you can't heal.
This is true.
Yeah. Shamiko says, if folks are committed to being dumb despite our efforts, why should we make ourselves weary for these lack of outcomes?
I remember one time, this nigga Obama. I remember one time, I can't even remember what it was, but let's just say it was healthcare. Obama was in a debate, and his debater said something to the effect of, under Obamacare, 15% of Americans have lost their insurance. And Obama said, with a straight face, he said, yeah, that's an improvement. And the debater was like, what do you mean? He was like, yeah, because if we repealed it completely, 90% of Americans wouldn't have health insurance. That's what this feels like. That's what the answer to your question feels like. That. Ask the question again.
If folks are committed to being dumb despite our efforts, why should we make ourselves weary for those lack of outcomes?
Because 15% dumb, I feel like, is way better than 90% dumb. And that might be the blood talking. Keep going.
And then Shamiko says, dumb don't make you incapable, though. So if black women step down, black men not gonna try. Wouldn't that mean y'all gave up first?
That's what they want you to think. If we know that stupidity is systemic and it has several factors, don't let me bring out the whiteboard. We got 7 factors that contribute to stupidity. If black men don't step up into the position of black women, it is not a direct result of the agency of black men. It's a direct result of the system that we have been placed in. Remember, black men think, and I'm making a generality while also trying to tear down some generalities. Black men, as a generality, believe that patriarchy is a solution to whiteness, when in actuality, patriarchy is a tool of whiteness. So the direct solution right now, it'd be very similar to when, was that Alabama and Mississippi, when they actually sent enslaved folks back to Africa, created Liberia, and then became 2 civil wars, and hundreds of thousands of black and African folks dead because you had, although they were enslaved, they still were enslaved with the colonized mind back into pre-colonized people. Colonization is still colonization. So the direct result of black women stepping down and black men stepping up would be patriarchy, right?
Damn.
If we did the math, right? It's not like we step up and it's like, oh, we automatically, we gonna do what black women do? Come on, man. Come on. What nigga say that? Oh, I just gonna do what she did. Come on, man.
Maurice says maybe the black woman in the picture set it on fire.
Thank you, Maurice. We needed that perspective. Yes. Maybe. I accept that. I accept that.
And then he said 95 Bulls lost to Orlando.
You said who? Orlando. Yeah. Anyway. All right, Sweethaht, let's do this.
Wait, I got one more.
Go ahead.
Shamiko says black men are allowed to rest on the premise of being dumb, but black women aren't allowed to rest.
Say it again.
Black men are allowed to rest on the premise of being dumb, but black women aren't allowed to rest.
I'm not saying we're gonna be resting on our dumbness. I'm saying it's gonna be dumbness. If we are looking at this like as a direct 1-to-1, if black women step down and black men step up, then we have what we've been discussing. It's not like we automatically become better people and better leaders and better men just because we're in positions of leadership. If anything, that might be more detrimental towards this thought process of tearing down patriarchy in order for us to be successful, in order for us to move forward. No, it does not. See your other comment. It doesn't have to be patriarchy. You're 100% correct. And I believe that with time, niggas would eventually find out that patriarchy is not the answer. But how much patriarchy are you willing to go through to get through that answer? Because it won't be tomorrow. I mean that literally and metaphorically. Sheesh. All right, Sweethaht, let's do it. Let's do not on camera. Let's do the burning question for the Roach. Burning question for the Roach. You ready? No. All right, today's burning question is brought to us by our girl Randy B. Truthing Questions by Randy B. It's time for a conversation.
It's behind you.
All right, make sure y'all go check out. Nope, that's Ta-Nehisi Coates. I feel like bagging, sagging, berry right now. That's a can opener. Okay, hold on. What's this? No, that's a tote bag. And okay, yeah, make sure you go check out Truthing Cards by my girl Randy B. Truthing by Randy B. Amazon.com. Time to have a conversation. All right, make sure y'all go check this out. Lady of the House gonna have a question for us. Let's get it.
Thinking back 20 years, are black people ahead of where you thought we would be or behind where you thought we would be?
Looking back 20 years, do I think black folks are ahead or behind where I think we could be? Oh, geez.
Where we would be.
Would be?
Yeah.
Okay. I was 15 20 years ago. That's why I said all G's, because I actually remember being 15. Let's see, was that Katrina?
04?
04? Mm-hmm. Okay. Looking back, do I think ask the question again, I'm sorry.
Thinking back 20 years, are black people ahead of where you thought we would be or behind where you thought we would be?
I think we're ahead. 20 years ago, the 20 years ago, the globalization of black culture was not as strong because we did not have the internet. The internet now allows us access to a more ubiquitous and globalized black experience. For example, the and pizza situation, I think 20 years ago would have taken us 2-3 weeks to organize versus 12 hours. And that happened because of internet access. That happened because like low key, because like you could call a nigga differently now. And because news spreads faster now, like we would have to seen it in the paper, which would have came out the next day. We would have had to have an emergency meeting, which would have been the night of, and then in order to organize people, we would have had to knock on doors and do phone calls and phone banks, which would have taken 12 hours within itself. So I think just based on that, I think we are further along than I thought we would be because I didn't see technology working this way. But at the same time, I think because of that technological distance, that kind of made us a little bitch made. A little soft. A little underboiled, if you will. Because there's something your brain does, like some what's it called? Lost cost. What's it called? Sunken cost fallacy. There's something that your brain does, like the more you invest into something, the more you're willing to risk for that thing. So if you've only invested a couple of Google Meets and some notes in your notebook versus like going to knock on 500 doors and calling 500 people and going to all the local churches and making announcements and actually activating your body to do so, I think it makes you a little softer. Like we're not willing to risk as much because it doesn't seem like there's much to risk until we get to a moment where Donald Trump is president again. And it's like, fuck, maybe, oh, damn, they go the election blame game. Maybe we should have done more. Maybe we should have came on maybe the show should have started earlier and we should have been dissecting every misstep from Donald Trump since Kamala announced her bid. Maybe we should have been knocking on doors. Maybe we should have done like we said 4 years ago and actually, kept going with the My Black Party. But I feel like we had less to risk. We never went to no party meeting. We've had parlors, but like that's been on a very localized level. What are your thoughts?
I'm just taking in everything you said.
What's the answer to your question?
Oh, I thought you were. I think we are. Yeah, I think we're ahead.
You think we're ahead?
Yeah.
You think Frederick Douglass will think we're ahead?
Ooh. If we're looking at the past few years, I don't know, but
if you're looking at 20 years forward, I think we're ahead than we could have been because 2004 is, was a time, especially it looked a different way. And what was acceptable to be said to us. Listening to these clips of Patrice O'Neal from around that time and listening how these white boys are talking about blackness to him, man, these boys want to be on the radio 20 minutes, let alone they want on the radio for like 4 or 5 years. Hell no. But looking back, if I was from the 50s, I don't know. I don't know if we are where I think we should have been from 1950 to now. I don't know. I don't know if George Washington Carver would be like, oh yeah, y'all doing great. I'm actually sure he wouldn't say that. Got any comments?
I mean, there's been a bit of progress.
There's been progress.
In some ways.
Yeah, but I'm saying Ralph Abernathy. You think he's like, oh yeah, we on track. You think Webby the boys is like, yeah, right there, yeah, yeah, right at Justice Smollett's case being dismissed. No. That's where I had us. That's exactly where I had us. Woo.
Man. All right. Yeah, we got some comments.
All right, what we got?
Let's see. Maurice said, great show today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Shamiko said, Hurricane Katrina was 2005. Drew says, I think we're behind, but at no fault of our own. We made strides, but due to forbidding CRT in schools, loss of affirmative action in Project 2025 coming is setting us back.
Yeah.
Shamiko said, I think some of this technological progress is a myth. We think we're reaching more people using online tools than those phone trees or door knocking, but much of the time those efforts are suppressed. Drew says people equate technological advancement with character development. Just because we're more sophisticated in our actions doesn't make us better people.
Right, exactly. I think we're a little bitch made. Very much so. I think we're a little soft.
Shamiko says we need to buy back Slow. Slow Hall was really ahead of its time.
I think we need maybe 10, 12 mil.
That's it?
That's it. It's funny. That's true. That's true.
Drew says Slow Hall was home. I had never felt such a community since that time.
This is true. Buy back, I think we just need to write like a TV series.
You need a what now?
Write like a TV series.
Oh, true.
Some great stories from Slow Hall. My damn polos. Damn.
Slow as a time.
Slow as a time.
Yeah. Imlet says, what's progress? I think we're regressing.
From 2004, you can't talk to us no kind of way. Like that is very obvious now. And I think that is a direct result of globalized black culture. You like people who accidentally say nigga on a podcast are trending for a day, and you can't talk to us in no some kind of way. Mm-hmm. It's not acceptable. And there are repercussions, and there are people in power to make sure those repercussions are enforced. We had a black president. Say what you want to say. It happened. We had a black president. That's progress. It may not be the destination, but damn it. You know who didn't have a black president? My grandma. True. We had our own Shirley Chisholm happen just now. Like, we had a black woman who had a serious chance at being president. Yeah. And I say serious chance in like the grand scheme, like not in the foolish remarks of, we know she ain't had no chance. But like, she vice president, most qualified, 220 something electoral votes. That's a silver medal. That's progress. Martin Luther King ain't had no black president. Shit. Shit.
Drew says, I'd love to make a TV series about my time at Slow Hall. It would be like Community and A Different World combined.
That's exactly what it'd be like. Yeah. Exactly what it'd be like. How slow.
And Shamiko says, I think the push of globalization isn't as helpful as folks want to believe. We have to go back to helping the people we see and touch daily.
Agreed.
True.
Agreed. All right, y'all. Well, it's been another great episode of Awake and Make We Be Mo Shababa. This blunt was heavy this morning. Mine hit. You see how low my eyes are? Good Lord. I'm trying to get it together. We will see y'all on not this Thursday, not Tuesday, on next Thursday. We'll try to put out as many clips as possible to keep the people going. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Try to make this thing grow as much as possible without scaling too much that we're outside of our own community. Because Shamiko just said we need our individual communities as much as we need our globalized communities as well. So we're going to do both. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to leave you with my man Detroit Rivers with our Black Boy Joy. We'll see y'all next Thursday. You got a last word?
Huh?
You got a last word? I got a last word. Mustard! Good morning.
Let this feeling slip away. Your city, yeah, happy feelings. Frankie Beverly and Maze, don't be amazed. Find yourself, learn your joys and pains. Live your voice and sing. The sounds of your heart, don't you worry about a thing. And don't forget your lyrics. This is a reminder of joy every time you hear it. Just your birthright is joy. Smile, you can wear it contagious once you share it. Let love loose, don't fear it. It's that black boy joy. Black boy joy upon your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy, get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy, say it again. One more time, get this black boy joy upon your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy, get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy, say it again. Where I was raised, black boys was being destroyed. I grew up a black boy, they had stole my joy. Nobody put on my neck, so I do it for Floyd. Do it for Tamir Rice and for the underemployed. For the ones that gave back, communicated, deployed. I wanna give you a rope so that you can aboard. I wanna give you a hope so that you can avoid having to be a black man without no black boy joy. So get this black boy joy up on your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy, get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy, say it again. One more time, get this black boy joy up on your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy, get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy, say it again. For us, It's easier to go to jail than to go to college. Rather us be entertainers than be getting knowledge. They funded our own genocide. The word is power. Killing niggas in every song. I think it's coward. Easier to act tough when you in doubt because the world incriminates us. Cause we in doubt. Now we afraid of our own kind and it's really wild. I think they got us backwards, but I figured out it's easier to fit in than it is to stand out. So I'm Black Boy Joy when I'm cruising around. And I'm Black Boy Joy fresh hitting the town. And I'm Black Boy Joy dancing cleaning the house. And I'm Black Boy Joy when I go for a hike. Been Black Boy Joy since I was riding a bike. My son Black Boy Joy and that's crazy to me. I was miserable growing up, I really hated it, G. But the world is much bigger than I was able to see. So get this Black Boy Joy up on your brain. Let this Black Boy Joy give you some game. Black Boy Joy get up again. And Black Boy Joy do all the pain. And Black Boy Joy say it again. One more time, get this Black Boy Joy up on your brain. Let this Black Boy Joy give you some game. Black Boy Joy get up again. And Black Boy Joy do all the pain. And Black Boy Joy say it again. Smile.